right, on this beautiful day that the Lord has made. Good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us on Tuesday's edition of the program Morning Ride, reaching you live from the state capital, Asaba. On behalf of board management and staff of Delta Broadcasting Service here in Asaba, my name is Ife Osita Olonwa, welcoming you to our beautifully packaged Tuesday's morning edition of Morning Ride. Okay, today is the 24th day in this wonderful month of September, God's own year 2024. So if you like, you can say 24, 24. Okay, and I don't know what you do with the 9 in the middle, but we are grateful. And we just have 6 days left until the end of this month, and then voila, we'll be in October, my birth month. So until then, we're still grateful to God. We're grateful to God for life. We're grateful to God for the ability to still sleep and wake up, and it's not by our making at all, despite what is happening. So last night, it rained cat and rat. Some will say cat and dog, I don't know. But then, I'm just, there are some persons who live in some areas that are not motorable, even to cross or come out of a house with your legs. They're not finding it funny at this time. So I'm just here to encourage you. It will pass. Before you know it, will be in dry season. But that's not to say that government shouldn't live up to their expectations. Okay, they should. They should, as a matter of fact and urgency, because there are some areas that they know prone areas. Areas that are prone to flooding and then water gathering in those areas. There's some roads that you see, especially in Asaba, there are no gutters. You know what will happen when it rains. You can't have a road without a gutter, so it will not even work. So I know that some persons might not be able to go to work, go to the business areas, especially when it rains heavily. And then NIMET has also predicted that we should expect more rains, heavy downfalls. So what do you then do? I think that proactive measures should be put in place. Yes, that's what we need to do. Also, want to congratulate the governor-elect in Edo State, because of course they have not sworn in yet. So he's still governor-elect. Honorable Monday Webolo was declared winner by INEC in the 2024 Edo election. Yes, cycle election. So a winner has emerged. The Edo people, please, they should just put their hands together and make Edo State work. So I think that we should look beyond partisan politics and support whoever emerges for a common goal. That is for the betterment of Edo State. That should be their top priority, as a matter of fact. Okay, that's about Edo State. Today is also National Punctuation Day. National Punctuation Day on September 24 celebrates the punctuation that makes our words legible and gets our point across. So for instance, when you say, let's eat, grandma, let's eat, grandma. I'm not teaching, sorry. Okay, or let's eat, grandma. You see, that's it. When you say let's eat, grandma, you punctuate it in after eat, then before grandma. But when you say let's eat, grandma, that means you want to eat your grandma, which is not proper. Okay, so it is clear that punctuation saves lives. Though you might not have consciously considered punctuation since elementary school, you likely use it every day. Every year, the creator of the holiday set a punctuation challenge and pronunciation quizzes and games can be found all over the country. So when you're typing, when you're writing, when you're speaking, let's be mindful of our punctuation mark. Don't go and eat your grandma or your grandpa. Always apply the punctuation mark and you're good to go. All right, we'll take a quick break. And when we return, we'll dive into our sports lined up for your patients. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Let's go! No. Ah, let's go. If we continue like this now, where we go end? Bros, calm down. I know say it be like see all of us the best now, but more will not say any damage where we dey cause now, not to our own state. And when we talk about our own state, we dey talk about ourselves, about our family, our fathers and mothers, our wives, brothers and sisters, even our children. If we use our own hands scatter what we get as our own, now where we go call our own again?
Now truth he talk. After all, Governor Sheriff, he don't promise say go do more for Deltans. Now wetin make us come dey fight now?
When see our guy dey talk so, it makes sense.
You see now. No be lie. We need peace today so that we go fit experience the more agenda. Meaningful development for all. But where there is no peace, there cannot be prosperity now. When they fight, they prosper. No need for the fight. Now peace and unity. Now we want.
It takes peace to experience more.
Together in peace and unity, we will experience the more agenda.
Brought to you by Delta State Ministry of Information.
Efe, you see, maintaining peace and security in Delta State remains a priority for the Governor Sheriff Oberewori-led administration.
It's clear for everyone to see that the Governor Sheriff-led administration is focused on promoting the well-being of all Deltans. Did you know that the Delta State Contributory Health Insurance Scheme currently caters to over 1,995,816 enrollees?
My God, no wonder Dr. Ifeanyi Oswaza he said that Governor Sheriff is staying committed to delivering the more agenda to Deltans.
Yes, you can say that again. Are you aware that Governor Sheriff Oberewori's administration has also taken significant steps to ease land acquisition as a strategy to mitigate Nigerians' housing deficits?
Governor Sheriff, very impressive. He's not just focusing on one area, maybe just health or peace and security. Is making sure that all areas experience the more agenda. Even when the Osun State Governor, Senator Ademola Adeleke, inaugurated the completed Okpanami-Busa bypass, he said he was particularly impressed with the performances of Governor Oberewori in 1 year of his administration.
Of course, it is clear now that the Governor Sheriff Infrastructural Development is creating an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. I heard of a lady by the name Doris Uzo who relocated her business to the bypass area and she's doing very well.
Talking about the bypass, Governor Sheriff did a very good one there. The 5.3 kilometer road.
And 10.6 kilometer length of drain.
Yes. Coming from Warri now, I didn't need to drive through those distance Coca area. I just took this shortcut, you know.
Hey, you know what born your friend now? I know you. You get money, but you know what spend them.
Governor Sheriff don't do road. Make I still waste. Don't be your fault. Now Sheriff will do road for you. You don't see how now.
Governor Sheriff putting smiles on the faces of Deltans.
So we are very happy because our government is working so hard.
You Sheriff now, you do very, very well. Fantastic.
Brought to you by Delta State Ministry of Information.
Let's go! No. Ah, let's go, let's go. If we continue like this now, where we go end? Bros, calm down. I know say it be like say all of us the first now, but more will not say any damage where we dey cause now, not to our own state. And when we talk about our own state, we dey talk about ourselves, about our family, our fathers and mothers, our wives, brothers and sisters, even our children. If we use our own hands scatter what we get as our own, now where we go call our own again?
Now truth he talk. After all, Governor Sheriff, he don't promise say go do more for their dance. Now wait till make us come dey fight now.
Wait till our guy dey talk so. It makes sense.
You see now. No be lie. We need peace today so that we go fit experience the more agenda. Meaningful development for all. But where there is no peace, there cannot be prosperity now. When they fight, they prosper. No need for the fight. Now peace and unity. Now we want.
It takes peace to experience more.
Together in peace and unity, we will experience the more agenda.
Brought to you by Delta State Ministry of Information.
All right, so welcome back to the studio. And joining me this morning, I have Mr. Austin Oluseweyemi Tuki, a technical officer, the Ministry of Power, Delta State Ministry of Power. And he's also a project manager, a motivated and hardworking professional with a strong track record of enhancing business performance, skilled in both individual and team environment. He's also dedicated to meeting organizational needs and increasing service value. He's eager to add value and leverage his expertise to drive success in a dynamic organization. Join me as I welcome Mr. Austin Tuki. Good morning to you, sir. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Right, yes, I just read out your profile, but then today we're not focusing on project management per se, as captured in your profile. We're talking about a clean and healthy environment. We know what is happening now with the flood. You know what happened in Borno State, the flood in Borno State that destroyed properties worth billions of naira, and then loss of life as well. And it's coming down. Not just in Borno State, it's happening even as the rains are, we're having heavy downpour every other day, even in September. So NIMET has predicted heavy downpour still, and Delta State is also part of the state that should expect that. And so all hands should be on desk. And we found out that you've been doing quite a lot in the state, and we thought it wise to invite you to let us know what informed that decision. Why are you doing what you're doing? For those of you who doesn't know, he's I'll call him an environmentalist. He's into into so many things, but then he does this cleaning, takes it as if his life depends on it. Cleans drainages, making sure that debris doesn't cover where water is supposed to pass to prevent flooding in the state. That's what you do and more. You will tell us. So, what informed your decision? And yes, let's start from there.
Okay, thank you. I have the privilege to live in a civil society where system works. So, and there was this, house, due to circumstances, low kind of like affordable housing in the state where I'm staying. So, first of all, the area was not tagged. So that was how I started. Like, when it rains, trust me, you want to wait like an hour before you come. So the road is always disrupted. So I started like, when I see women, kids, finding it difficult to have a walkway, there's water log. So I started over like 10 years ago. So I keep making pathways for people to go through, try to level the drive-through roads, and people do see me, they thought probably I was doing it for money. I had an incident where a nun gave me 100 naira. I took it.
A nun?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was just somebody walking, he just kept handing me over 100 naira. I took it out of respect, not that I needed it. Okay. Yeah. So I thank and appreciate it. Then my main passive motivation is I just love clean environment, and I love things working smoothly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that a clean and healthy environment has, number one, safe food and water supply, proper waste disposal, clean air, no pests such as flies, cockroaches, and mosquitoes. But that's the order of the day, especially not in the GRA area, government reserve areas, but some urban and even rural areas. Asaba is a rural area, but then we are prone to malaria caused by mosquito bites here and there. Now, how you know this because you're coming from a Senate climb where things, you said it yourself, that things are working, the systems are working. But now we're in Asaba currently. The issue of waste disposal, how do you think it should be done best?
Honestly, from observation, like I've seen, like during once the rain stops falling and there's this massive erosion of pool of waters, people tend to dispose their waste. That is why I took it upon myself. Because if you don't evacuate the ones in your area of living, you're bound to trap the ones coming. So I took it upon myself to always evacuate the one in my vicinity.
Okay, you mean the drainages?
Yes.
Oh.
People just dispose their waste once it is raining because the water just pull them along. So if you don't dispose the one in your vicinity, you end up trapping the one coming. So before you know, you have heap of waste in your environment,
Okay.
community nuisance and unhealthy environment. So first of all, I took it as an hobby. Then it get to like an exercise, a routine for me.
Okay. How often do you do it?
I do religiously every morning.
Every day.
Yes. I take a
What?
morning walk, do little, then I get ready for work.
Okay, so I don't. So since you started this, what has the I mean, how is the culture? I mean, what has the culture been for those around you, those watching, even your neighborhood, your neighbors,
Even now,
people living in that area?
Yeah.
Have anyone joined you since you started? the
oh,
project?
trust that is difficult. You know the system, you know how Nigeria is. As long as money is not involved, it doesn't pull people along. But I appreciate the appreciation, like the love people show to me, the great things. It makes me feel, because personally, I love standing out. I love getting things done, not doing it just for the pay, but I did that. It gives me joy. Say, I was the one that did that. That gave me joy.
So you clear a drainage today, for instance. Is it a particular drainage system that you clean every day?
Okay, I used to clean the one close to my house for one main reason, because the kind of like the property next to me is kind of uncompleted, so it's always filled with. So I took my time. I go there, just clear like to the main junction to avoid rodents to go through,
Right.
coming to the compound. Then I observe if I get to my
This is
junction.
you were even inside.
Yeah, you see, that's my street. So when I clear to my junction, I don't discover it's not flowing continuously because the other way was blocked. So I just took it upon myself and end up cleaning all the way to the main road and keep going.
Okay, so how do you dispose of this? How do you dispose the debris collected from the drainage?
That is the big challenge. I try to inform the authorities, see if they, because you see, if you can play more clips, you see where I heap up a little debris. But if they don't come to clean it, you end up going back to the drain.
Oh no, that's like punishment.
Yeah.
You're going to do
Okay,
it over
you can
and
see,
again.
you can see that now. If you don't come to pick, if the government don't come to pick them up, because once it's rains, everywhere is filled up. Like the
Right.
water will just come all the way to the hard road, pushing all the debris to wherever they can go. So if they don't help moving them out, they'll end up going back to the drain.
So your duty or your job will not be in fertility, or your effort will be in fertility. But so far, so what you do basically, you clear the drainages, and then you just leave the waste.
Presently, I'm even trying to like get my ministry involved, see if they can help. See, there's this military, because there are a lot of places, there are options. Like when I take my morning walk, there's this area behind the legislative quarters.
Yeah.
It's a very easy effort to get cleaned. Like I have the intention, like you see those debris I took out of those this gutter right now.
Right.
If you just have a means of moving them to fill the open space there, at the end of the day, you put like red sand on top and put interlocking, clear the whole place, make the place look lovely. It will be nice and healthy for everyone to enjoy. But I don't have the capacity to do that.
Okay. So, but if you are privileged to meet with maybe the authorities, what would you put on the table? What would you bring and say, okay, if this is achieved, I can help. The vision of a clean Delta State or clean Asaba will be realistic.
Okay, first.
Want to be on your top burner?
I'm a difficult, very strict. I take my things seriously. I'm a difficult guy to work with because I don't joke with my work. That's one. And two, I can do it alone. Like if I'm empowered with the capacity to get the environment clean, trust me, I'll get it clean.
Okay.
I see. It's just little effort. Just put little effort, you can achieve a very clean environment. Having the right tools. when you have the right equipment, everything goes easily.
So you are, I mean, you said it that Senate client that disposal of refuse is how it is done, different from what we have here. What do you suggest? What do you suggest that we do, especially in Delta State, turning waste to wealth?
Exactly.
It used to be a slogan before.
Yes, yes.
So how do we achieve that?
There's a lot of options. You have segregations. Like if people can be enlightened on how to dispose of refuse carefully, you see, you can actually make a lot of wealth from it. You see, like the plastic is different from the glass, the complete waste, where you can also actually refine to energy. All these are good investment. But I don't know what to say, man. It's that one is left for the government to decide what it's achievable.
It's achievable.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we wrap up this conversation, first of all, I must say kudos to you for what you're doing, and please don't relent, because I know that sometimes you want people to join you, but then they are not forthcoming, and you get discouraged sometimes. But what was the attitude of people out there when they see you?
Oh, a lot of people they keep having it. Oh, okay, now I've observed people actually, because my videos start kind of like trending a little bit now, because I post it in my office, and people keep. I just see people now like coming up, cleaning the environment. Honestly, yeah, because
leadership by example.
I kind of yes, and because like I keep pushing it that it's part of exercise for grown-up men as well. You don't need to leave it for someone to do. You can see participating, doing the little you can, and once you start doing it, you see the health benefit. See, like me, I feel good every day when after doing it. I find it difficult to sleep actually. A lot on my head, but after doing this, I sleep.
Of course, of course. But then, can you advocate for a culture where people no longer disposes their waste indiscriminately? Can you begin to teach people to imbibe that culture where they would dispose their waste as it should, and not just throw them into the gutter because nobody sees them or no one cares?
Okay, I was coming up with a concept. I thought of an idea, right? If I have a capacity like
look at debt, look at trash,
yeah, exactly,
bins.
Most times it's because you don't get involved, so you don't know how tedious it is. Because I come up with a concept like if I have like a means of mini truck where you can pick those garbage. Now pick a street.
A street.
Yeah, just pick a street because as about usual. So you pick a street, get everyone on that street involved.
Okay.
Jokingly, just play. We get use of things. If you make them to be aware and involved, trust me, we have a clean state.
So that means it should be like a routine, like every week or so. Because you can't do it one off. That would not be a culture.
No, because by the time you get it clean, now you make them aware of maintaining it, keep it clean, steady.
Maintenance.
Because it's easier when it's clean. The first time is very difficult. Trust me.
True.
When you want to do it the first time, it's very hard. But the minute it's clean, you can easily maintain it. So I was coming up with concept. If you get people involved, jokingly, they'll get used to it. Just look at us about today. It's better than yesterday because we are growing. It's just the awareness, that's all.
Okay, the awareness.
Yeah.
Okay, sensitization campaigns from the Ministry of Environment and then the task forces in charge
Exactly,
of clearing these things. Okay, so but how about because we have PSPs, the private people comes to they go to houses to carry their debris. But you also mentioned the fact that even when you have paid for people to come carry it, that there's how you're going to package your waste. How do we then do it?
Honestly, there are some things I won't want to talk about, like the system, because it's just who we have. Because, but I know we can change if you actually get people aware of how to do things. We are the most fascinating creature on earth. Nigerians, we are very stubborn and we obey
We are very
rules as well.
stubborn and we obey.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's just for you to tell them what to do.
Imagine this is a drainage, supposed to be a drainage system, but stuffed with only God knows what. And with the rains, the heavy downpours we're having now, it's going to be difficult for some people to even access their houses or their offices, their business areas. So, but then we have a monthly sanitation. Do you think that's enough?
We don't take that seriously.
We don't.
That's the truth. Because everything in life is interest. If you can build people's interest in getting it done, they will definitely.
Okay.
Because for me, it was just seeing people when my street wasn't tired yet, like seeing women taking their kids to school, what they pass through. So I just try to do the little I can to assist them. It just that just built up. Before you know it, I just keep going. I couldn't even stop. I couldn't help myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the sustainability.
Yeah.
Is your passion waning off yet?
Oh no.
Okay.
To be honest with you, right? I suffer from arthritis. I used to be very active, so I can't jog because of the arthritis, but I can walk. So I kind of like need something to, waste my, like I can't get someone to clean the drainage. I'll be standing and wash. I'm definitely going to be part of it because I want that exercise to build up. Like I enjoy doing it, so I don't see me stopping. Honestly, the only thing is I can't do it alone. Sometimes I find it difficult to work under the sun. Because of my,
your background.
Yeah, so I always like doing it early. So I don't know.
Okay, so like you said, the sustainability is there. All you just need, you need help, as it were. You need help, technical know-how, wherewithal. And
more hands as well.
And more hands.
And we can ship a lot.
And then the need for people to be conscious of the environment and making sure that they no longer throw dirt into the drainages and blocking them. And so we're also going to emphasize here that it's an offense.
Of course, yeah.
To dispose your waste properly. Waste disposal should be done properly, not indiscriminately. Don't block our drainage system, the one that we have. Please don't block them, just like we're saying. I'm watching on the screen now. Don't block them. This message is from Delta Broadcasting Service and Mr.
Turkey.
Mr. Turkey. Thank you so much. We want to appreciate you for coming.
Yeah.
And please, we hope that you stay motivated and more grease to your elbow.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll be speaking with Mr. Austin Orishewayemi Toki, project management and manager and technical officer in the Delta State Ministry of Power. And the significance or the importance of a clean environment has been highlighted, today on this week's episode or Tuesday's edition of Morning Ride. Let's take a quick break and we'll return. We'll look at our papers this morning. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Governor Sheriff, they give us more better things for Delta.
That's why I so the truth.
Now, truth, oh, this will get why they stay so. Yes. Governor Sheriff, they do roads.
That's why,
he not only they do roads, though, they also they do drainages to make sure say the roads where we go they get for Delta, not go poor. Me and say Governor Sheriff, they ready to give Deltas the best.
Yes. He talk now before he enter power.
As me and you they talk so, Adakbrasa road. Adakbrasa now, where you take they go they meet that girl.
Which one?
That girl will say she not go fit marry you.
Okay.
Governor Sheriff don't rehabilitate Adakbrasa road. Yes, so. It's just about 1 year where Governor Sheriff enter power, so he don't start and complete different projects. Some of them he rehabilitate them.
More agenda, of course.
Yes, so.
You see, this thing when Oga Peter they talk so. Now truth, just about 1 year in office, Governor Sheriff don't complete different projects and he still they do more. As I dey road dey travel the other day, I see and say Governor Sheriff dey do rehabilitation for High Expressway, a 3-kilometer road. Now, no be only that one. Recently, when I travel go see my friend for Warri South, I come see am say Governor Sheriff im don do rehabilitation overlay of Ejegba community main road down to the roundabout.
Na that one you dey talk? Me, I just dey come from Oriso. When I hear say Governor Sheriff dey do flyover and say na Julius Berger, I say make I go see with my eyes. Seeing is believing. I reach there na so I dey look. I see am say Governor Sheriff dey construct flyover from PTI Junction to the roundabout. I say na wow, Governor Sheriff just start. He go start with legacy project so. And e dey in progress so, even as we dey talk so.
More agenda. Governor Sheriff transforming Delta.
This village so this road now Wapa village. Thank our governor, Governor Sheriff. We make the road better for us so we fit pass the road well now.
Brought to you by Delta State Ministry of Information.
My people, una know say to chop plenty fruit and vegetable every time dey help person live long. You no go fit see anything when they give good nutrition when boku pass fruit and vegetable. Fruits and vegetables get plenty vitamins like vitamin A, B, C and E, and other minerals like magnesium, zinc, phosphorus, potassium, and folic acid. You see, food when contain vegetables and fruit, they help lower blood pressure, reduce the risk of heart disease and stroke, prevent some kind cancer, help lower cholesterol level and blood pressure, remove yamayama from your system, protect you from digestion wahala and high problem, come make your skin dey shine muke muke. E good to eat fruits and vegetable every day, and if you even get blender, you fit blend different fruit when you like together to make sweet drink when oyibo dey call smoothie. Now the Delta State Committee of Food and Nutrition and Delta State Ministry of Information now bring una this message.
Alright, so welcome back to the studio. Joining us here we have Barrister Emmanuel. Barrister, good morning to you, sir.
Morning, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Alright, So today we'll be looking at the imperative of data protection and privacy in Nigeria.
Yes.
The imperative of data protection
And privacy
in
in Nigeria.
Nigeria. So when we say data protection, is it like your phone, the data in your phone, or your material? Maybe you're a writer, an author of a book, or a content creator, because that's what is paying like
Of course, yeah.
huge sum now. And so, what does it mean?
It includes, like you said, the information in your phone. You have sensitive information in your phone. People that do content things, even institutions, banks, oil companies, they have a database. And they have information.
Every office
yes,
actually has.
My brother just left here from the Ministry of Energy. They have a database.
That's your
where
brother?
sensitive information.
Okay, yeah.
So this information needed to be protected because we live in a generation or an age where there's this great technological advancement and there's the incidences of online fraud, tampering with people's information, sensitive information. Now look at it. People that commit online fraud, what do you think they look for? When they do this, they look for your personal information. They want to get they want to get access to it.
That's right.
So, by virtue of this dangers prevalent in this space, it becomes imperative to protect your data.
That's right.
For example, let me give an example quickly before I delve into what I really want to speak on.
Right.
Your phone, no one's supposed to have access to it by way of like security agencies. They can't just tamper with your phones like that. They have to have.
But they do now.
They do, but that is against the law. Because the law says you have to obtain a warrant before you search your phone. That's what the law says. There are decided cases on that. I'm just giving you an example. So nobody has the right to just invade your data.
My privacy.
Yeah. And that's foundation upon section 37 of the Nigerian Constitution. It gives you the right to your privacy. So in Nigeria, of course in many countries, USA, UK, Ireland, they have enacted what they call data protection laws to protect the database of, to protect data of organizations, individuals. And Nigeria has one as well. It's called the Nigeria Data Protection Act 2023 that seeks to safeguard people's data, especially those that work in organizations, banks, institutions, and all that.
2000 or what?
2023.
2023. That was last year.
Last year. Yeah, President Tinubu signed it into law.
Okay.
So that is the law regulating data protection in Nigeria.
Okay.
Of course, let me just quickly delve into the salient provisions of the act.
Okay.
You see, the people needed to be educated on these things because we find data breaches on a daily basis. On a daily basis, information is currency. Data is currency. They say oil is currency. That's okay, but data is also currency.
It is.
People can do anything to get data and information about you, to perpetuate sinister objectives. So the NDPA, Nigerian Data Protection Act, like I said, is to safeguard the data of individuals and organizations. Okay, there are certain provisions I want to bring to the fore right now. For example, under the act, under this said act, for example, you work in an organization. The organization is mandated to appoint a data protection officer.
Really?
Yes, I'm sure banks have that. Institute different institutions
so
have that.
just for private sectors?
Yeah, it's also for
government.
Yeah, of course, government is involved as well. Yeah, it's involved, and the reason is simple: so as to manage the data of a company. Manage the data. For example, of course, yes,
but that should be for companies with sensitive data or information. Yeah.
Yes, includes every company. You see, information can be used for anything. Data is very. It can be used for anything, sensitive and otherwise. So government institutions should have that. The act mandates them to appoint somebody to oversee data concerns. And under the act as well, your consent as an employee has to be taken. You have your name, your address, your email address, and all your data about you. Your consent has got to be sought before you use your data. If that consent is not sought, you're liable for breaching your.
That is the organization you work with.
Yeah. You have to inform you before they use your data to do any other thing. You have that right. It's in the act. Okay. So consent is crucial. For example, let me give you a decided case. You know Meta platforming platforming corporation, people in charge of YouTube, Facebook and all that. The Nigeria Data Protection Commission fined them $220 million. Why? Because they appropriated data of users for purposes known to them without the consent of these users. That's an infraction of the Nigerian Data Protection Act. So they infracted that rule. So they were fined for that. So you see how important that thing is. You don't deal with people and their data, and you just run it according to your human caprice. You know? So that provision is there. You have to seek consent before you do anything. I think Google and a couple of, even Facebook in different countries, they have been fined. For example, Google, I think in a decided case, possibly decided years back, they were fined 50 million euros. That's the GDPR. That's the European Union version of data protection laws. They were fined by that law for using users' data for I think that is programs without their consent. You see? So as well, we have in that same act, that act provides, is a provision in the act that states that if there's a data breach, then or your data is compromised, the data protection officer in the organization is to inform the Nigerian Data Protection Commission so that it doesn't disastrous consequences, so that it contained. Also to inform the data subjects, those that have that data, that there has been a breach. Because they've decided where companies fail to report that breach and they're fined for that.
Okay, so now that you're talking about breach and what constitutes a data breach, how are data breaches reported in Nigeria? How do I report a data breach?
For example, the Act states what you should do. The Act makes provision for you to, if there's a breach, maybe your bank or something just happens and your data has been compromised. And it is an act.
It's like a fraud.
Yeah, it's like a fraud. Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, it happens all the time. So it could be that maybe they release your information.
How do you ascertain that? Oftentimes we don't even know where they get access, where they get our information from.
Yeah, that's.
We don't know. We can't ascertain.
Of course, that happens. But in as much as that happens, somehow you get to know, maybe you are fleeced of a certain amount of money, your account, you notice very strange things about your account, and you try to investigate and you find out that your account has been breached or something. Then the step you're going to take is to write a complaint, write a letter to the Nigerian Data Protection Commission, stating what happened, the time when it happened, the institution involved and all that, give them the details, and then they investigate it. But meanwhile, by virtue of your reporting to them, there will be some actions taken to stem the tide. I mean, like to curtail
maybe
the
there's a
outburst.
withdrawal going on.
Something has to be done to stem to nip it in bud.
Okay.
But you have got to report to the Nigerian Data Protection Commission. You write a complaint to them. Many people have done that.
Like that.
Yes, of course. Many people have done that and have seen results.
Oh, really?
They've seen results. Yeah. So that is why we
Is
try.
that an agency of its own or a government agency?
Yeah, it's a government agency, it's federal government, Nigerian Data Protection Commission. It's a creation of the Nigerian Data Protection Act.
So do you not think that EFCC is also doing part of the job?
Yeah, okay, they work together with the EFCC.
Even the police is doing the job, like, I don't know.
There's
this mix-up.
Yeah, their delineations are
The
true.
roles.
Yeah. The EFCC, all of them work in tandem with each other. Yes, EFCC, ICPC, they have cases like that. It has to be investigated and all that. So they work hand in hand to protect the data of Nigerians.
All right. So what is the role now? The main role of the data protection officer
Okay.
in Nigeria?
Yeah, that's a good question. The role of a data protection officer has a very crucial role to play in any organization. First of all, it must ensure that the organization itself complies with the provisions stated in the Act. For example, the consent thing I talked about. We must ensure that it is done. And the provision, of course, there's a provision in the act that has to do with erecting a formidable protection network for data. If a company does not have that, or they do it in a lousy manner, they will be liable to be penalized. So the data protection officer, he also trains people or the employees on data protection and policies and protocols. He trains them so that they will also have a little bit of idea on it, so that they will know when certain things happen and know what to do. They also maintain, they carry out what you call risk assessment audits. And what by that I mean, or by that the act means, that when they want to process data, they have got to put in mind the risk quotient that will be involved. If it's going to be disastrous, then they have to take measures to mitigate that or to avoid it altogether. So the data protection officer does that as well. He also advises the management on data protection policies. Gives them counsel. Say, do not do this. If you do this, you'll be liable to be penalized here. This is what the law says. That's the role they play.
Okay, how is it put? Because I'm wondering, is it the organization that employs a data protection officer, or because the federal government agency, so is it the federal government that deploys the officer to man each maybe an organization?
Yeah, the provision in the Act states that the organization is to appoint that officer. The federal government doesn't need to appoint those officers themselves, but the provision says appoint one to safeguard your institution. You know, many institutions are.
So who pays them? The organization?
Yeah, pays them. Yeah. So the importance of data protection officers cannot be overemphasized, because that if you don't have them there to run affairs for you, you could run your company aground. Certain things can happen. There could be a breach, and sensitive information could be released, and that can cost your company. That can damage your.
Okay, now that we're here, give us scenarios.
Yeah.
What has happened? How the data protection officer, DPO, came in and salvaged the situation?
Okay. Well, I would say that there are instances of that. There are many instances of that. There might not be ready case law on that right now, but so far, many banks, oil companies, even federal government agencies, there are moves. We've seen the situation where their data protection officers call a meeting, maybe the organization, and instruct them, pass them through training, tell them what not to do or what to do when it regards, for example. I think in a decided case now, there's a decided case that involved, I think Disney. It's a Disneyland. It's Disneyland in America. Yeah. The communication between the employees got leaked, and that was sensitive things. There are set things in that communication, so it leaked out. So that was disastrous. So to stem something like that, or I've seen cases like I said, the data protection officers will talk to them and train them on how to maybe code their communications in such a way that it will be like difficult to break into, like codes and all these technical terms and all that.
So let's talk about privacy now, because we've been talking about data protection. Yes, I know that they work hand in hand, because if your data is not private or whatever, it cannot be protected. So how do we ensure at all times, as individuals, that our data is, like, we make sure that our data, the information that we have, maybe our phone numbers or our date of birth, or I don't know what they use to perpetrate all these criminals right now, especially for fraudulent activities. How do we now protect ourselves, protect our data as individuals, if we cannot afford to hire a DPO?
Okay, as individuals, For example, I told you about the case of another case that's involved I think Nigerian police, the security agency. Your phone, yeah, they just take it from you. They don't have the right to do that. There's a law. If you know your rights.
So when they
you can
take my
prove them.
phone, I will tell them that
Yeah.
section what?
Yeah, the law says that. Just tell them the law says. They know that, but some of them just do. I'm just trying to give you an example first of all. They don't have a case was decided I think it was
So I
a
can
case of
sue the
June.
officer?
Oh yes, but there's exceptions to the rule anyway. Exceptions to the rule. Maybe
what are the
it involves all this. Maybe they have a suspicion. They have gathered facts that this particular person is one of the Yahoo person and all that. Like all they do these days. They have information on that. So, but even at that, you have to seek the approval in a kind of way to seize that phone. But for individuals like you asked, your phone, your bank accounts and all that. You see, when banks tell you, if so and so, if you see so and so advert that says send us your BVN, we have something to give you, so and so bank. Banks send such notices. Don't adhere to it.
Disclaimer.
Don't adhere to it. Then you also have to protect your phone or your devices with your passwords and all that. You don't give it out.
Not even to your spouse or your children?
Well, that depends. Because if you give it out to them, well, it depends on who you give it out to. So that person does not compromise it inadvertently. So personally, for example, your phone, you don't expose it easily. You don't expose your details. Like you're not like a Jessica with it.
Okay.
You put your passwords and basic security knowledge to help
There's
you.
this thing about that they write encrypted messages.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
All those kind of things. These are technical terms, though. Technical terms. And of course, there's so much knowledge on YouTube about how you can protect your devices and all that. So I think it's an age of increased knowledge. So there's nothing you cannot find out that can protect your phone and all that. There's so many things, there are so many write-up videos and all that. So you can take such measures. Educate yourself. It's not wrong in doing that. Educate yourself on how to protect yourself. But know that you have a right to privacy. Nobody can just bust in and let people have access to you.
What section is that right to privacy?
Section 37 of Nigeria.
Oh, section 37. I have right to privacy.
Oh,
Not
yes.
just with my phone. What other ways?
It covers a wide range. Your laptop, your what do they call it? Your bank account details and all that.
Section 37.
Section. They can't read it off. Even the act itself. I want to talk to the viewers. Let them read up all these things to educate yourself. Because ignorance is not. In a generation of there's so much information these days. And this data protection thing is something that people should know, because your account can do things with your account if you don't know what to do and all that. So
Must
that's
you
why
be a lawyer to be a data protection officer?
It's the act itself says it's not compulsory that you should be a lawyer, but I think you should so because of you understand the nuances of law and all that. But it could be somebody that has been trained in data management knowledge and all that. So it can be somebody outside of a lawyer, but basically ideally it should be one. It should be a lawyer. But they understand in two cases of the law how to guide you to that.
That's why you want.
I'm one, of course. I'm one, of course.
By
You want-
extension or practically.
Both of them, whatever you want. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Barrister Manuel. As we wrap up, just your advice to our viewers.
Okay. So I just advise them when it comes to your personal details, you don't have to be careless about that. And also to organizations, please ensure you have a data protection officer. It will do that organization good, or whether a bank or whatever, it will do you good. It will help you. Because these days so many things are happening, and you don't want to be found to be a victim of that. So I think that's what I want to say to them.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Appreciate you. Section 37. You're not in
Section
my mouth.
37.
I refuse to be harassed.
No,
Anybody, I need my privacy.
Oh, yes.
Section 37 says so.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We're speaking with Barrister Emmanuel, and we are talked about the imperative of data protection
privacy
and privacy in
Yeah.
Nigeria. Thank you so much, Barrister,
Thank you for having
for
me on
that
the show.
beautiful, eye-opening section. All right, to take a quick break now. We'll come back. Henry Wanze is in the building. We're going to dissect the newspaper this week. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Harry Wanze. I just had to put on my glasses. It's a glass something.
Yes, I think I like your glasses. I'm thinking maybe after the program I could do an exchange.
We
The only
could.
problem is maybe I don't know whether it's the same eye defect he's trying to
No, I don't have an eye defect. This is
okay.
recommended.
Shakomende. I think I will go for that. Nice to be here.
Yes,
this
nice
morning,
to
as
have
always.
you. Good morning to you. So, but first, let's look at what the papers are saying this morning. And our first paper is the Vanguard. On the Vanguard newspaper, major headline: we will meet APC, INEC in court to retrieve mandate. This is from Dangote, Mexico's Dos Bocas refineries may upstage U.S. road users. OPEC. Security Council seat. And we also have Fobara's loyalists ditch PDP APC pitch tent with APP. FE's flame. Let's look at the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Major headline: Edo State will meet APC INEC in court to retrieve mandate, says PDP. So many riders to that story, but we'll revisit it when we analyze the issue. We have here Nigeria, the UNGA 79. Nigeria demands UN Security Council seat. And we have here Fubara's loyalists ditch PDP, APC pitch tent with APP. And on sports, Morocco 2025, Libya drags Super Eagles to Banana. Airpeace plane suffers windshield crack on landing at Abuja Airport. Alright, you can find details on the front page or the inside stories of the Vanguard newspaper. Moving on to Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Botsman asks Daily Trust to apologize. That's on Samuel agreement. Says newspaper's story inaccurate, federal government handling poor. Daily Trust still. Israel strikes kill 356 in Lebanon. CBN moves to replace sacked directors. Pastoralists alleged plot to stop livestock ministry. We have here, still on the Daily Trust, bandits leader Kachala Shame killed in gang clash in Kaduna. Federal government to establish National Citizens Value Brigade in schools. Conflicts of interest stalling constituency project, EFCC, ICPC. Picture here, We have the Kano State government, education again, Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf walks the talk. Right, moving on to the Daily Times newspaper. The Daily Times, PDP rejects Edo governorship election results, threatens court action, asked INEC to review results within stipulated period, declare Igodalo winner. Flooding, FEC set up technical committee to review all existing dams in Nigeria. We have this story still from the Daily Times. Tinubu orders establishment of disaster relief fund. Away from the Daily Times newspaper, let's look at Daily Independent now. Edo Guba poll results were manipulated. This is coming from Yiga Africa. PDP heads to court, says nation's democracy under threat. We lost the power of money bags, buying votes, money bags buying votes, says Akbata, who used Edo template in Ondo Anambra Ganduje. Peter Obi describes outcome of Edo poll as state capture. And then on the major headline of the Daily Independent, flood-prone areas, federal government asks Benue, Adamawa, Taraba, others to relocate residents. Ondo, not Edo, though they sound alike, will protect our votes, says PDP candidate. All right, that's it on Daily Independent. I'm trying to breeze through the front pages this morning so that our analyst can do what he knows how best to do. Now let's look at the Punch. The Punch newspaper, screaming headline, Edo poll. PDP demands fresh collation as LP Akbata alleges fraud. INEC must abide by Section 65 of Electoral Act 2022. Poll was transaction, not election. This is from LP. Litigation claims against 6 banks near 2 trillion naira. A police probe alleged killing of 3 by Lagos teenage driver. Passengers panic as plane windshield breaks. And why federal government must end petrol subsidy now, says Dangote. National Assembly resumes today, demands 2025 budget. Profubara local government caretaker chairman Don PDP for APP. All right, away from the Daily, or rather the Punch newspaper, let's look at the Guardian. On the Guardian newspaper, amid low impact, over 174,100 new NGOs established in 4 years. Over 55.1 million registered entities are in Nigeria. Only 20% of registered entities pay annual returns. Millions of volunteers are in NGOs. You can just grab a copy of The Guardian and then read the story, the analysis there, and the statistics given there, The Guardian newspaper. Right. After Edo, APC vows to clench Ondo, Anambra, Rivers. Party CSO seek INEC review of Edo governorship election results. FEC OK's plan to strengthen national value system in schools. ONGA, Nigeria demands Security Council seat. And lastly, Nigeria spent 1.4 trillion naira on epileptic power. Discos owed 385 billion naira. Alright, that's it on The Guardian. And let's look at the Nigeria Tribune. That's our last paper this morning. The Nigeria Tribune, major headline, still on Edo poll, Edo election. More knocks on conduct of Edo Guba poll. That's been captured, and you can find details on page 15. So many writers to that story. Editors take 2024 annual conference to Bayelsa. We have here kidnapped Zamfara Varsity students staff released after 7 months, and food insecurity may worsen crisis in poultry sector, says stakeholders. On the front strip, FG launches disaster relief fund for emergencies. structures after 150 meters of Ibadan Circular Road won't be demolished again. The court dismisses suit seeking Ganduje's sack as APC chairman. Dangote Refinery marketers to meet over petrol lifting and pricing. Right, that's it on Nigerian Tribune. And back here in the studio, Henry Wanze, I wanted to call you Alaj Dantata. Well, I hope there's dollars, you have dollars.
No. We are trying to
dollar in your pockets.
ensure that our naira bounces back, so we can't talk about dollars now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Edo, you're coming back from a lot. Welcome back from Edo State.
Well, that's like more like homecoming because it's my own state. I was born and raised there. Yeah, especially in Oredo local government.
Wow.
I went to nursery, primary, and secondary school over there. So it's more like.
You cannot cast your vote in Edo now.
Unfortunately, I can't cast my vote, but it's more like my home state. So whatever happens in Edo State also affects.
They're
me.
also a neighboring state.
Of course.
Yeah, just like Anambra State. Yeah. Okay, so more knocks on conduct of Edo Gube poll. Election failed integrity test, says Yaga Africa. PDP rejects results, calls for review. We have here Okwebolo's victory, implicit confidence in Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, says APC election. Continuation of gross undermining of nation's democratic process, Obi, that's Peter Obi. My aspiration never about power, but to serve, says Ivo Dalo, the PDP candidate. An LP candidate, Akpata, says, vote buying results, falsification characterized poll. ACPCL requests BVAS generated accusation data from ANEC. Since they announced the winner, or rather, since the APC candidate, Mr. Honorable Monday Okwebolo, was declared winner, that was Sunday night. A lot of
Well, you could say
issues.
It's the trending stories that's making the headlines since Sunday to this moment, and obviously it's going to go on for
a while.
It's what I tagged before the elections, a battle of the Godfathers. You know, it was a battle royale, as we call it in WrestleMania, Royal Rumble. You know, it wasn't just a battle between Asue Godalo of the PDP versus distinguished Senator Mondo Okwebolo of the APC, or even Akpata as Olumide Akpata of the Labour Party. It was a battle between a new godfather in the bloc, Gordon Obaseki, and an established godfather, distinguished Senator Adams Oshiomhole. And we also had a Nyesom Wike, another godfather of Rivers politics, and a man who single-handedly has the PDP in the national body in his pocket. Also there, you know, many factors at play, if you want to call it. It was really a debacle. The only thing I can say in this whole thing is that not much has really changed from the last presidential election, or rather, as general elections held last year. But one would have thought that INEC would have learned its lessons, and there have been a lot of changes in terms of how we conduct, you know, the elections, the electoral processes, and all that. Recall that the last electoral reform was in 2022 after the one of 2010, you know, and there were so many electoral reforms. But after the national general elections last year, you know, observers and all practitioners and everybody called for, you know, more about electoral reforms. And this election has gone to show that we still are in need of the electoral reforms. The electoral process in Nigeria is still flawed and is still filled with a lot of ambiguities, and nothing has changed. The other time it was about the issue of having the IREV, and you know, there's this ambiguity of how to transmit results electronically, and there was this lacuna, and INEC said was IREV is just a portal, and that the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022 allows for the transmission of results manually. It leaves it open. It could be manual, it could be electronic. And what is specifically said was that accreditation has to be done by the bimodal voter accreditation system, which is the BVAS. And so far in this election, everything went well in terms of the BVAS. There was no problem with the BVAS. The only problem that, you know, really cropped up was that it was an off-cycle elections, so everything was moving fast. As at 11 something a.m., only 64% of voters have been accredited because the process was, a bit slow, And another beautiful thing about this election was that there was a high deployment of security personnel. For the Nigerian police, it was about 30,000. I think above all, it was about a complement of close to 70 or so thousand in terms of when you add the Nigerian military, the DSS, and all that. So, because before the election, there was always, there have been this fear of violence and all that, because Edo State indeed is a hotbed. So these are some of the things. Then about what really transpired, there are many incidents, like you hear Yaga Africa and some other civil society organizations talking about INEC failing integrity tests. I agree totally. That's why I said not much has really changed.
How did they fail?
They failed in, like for instance, we talk about this issue of many incidences of voters, what the numbers being accredited, and at the end of the day, the number of votes being recorded.
How is that INEC's fault?
It's INEC's
It's supposed to be the
no, it's INEC's
deployed to man that.
This is still INEC. The person you've been told to deploy is an INEC staff.
Some are not.
No,
remember they have ad hoc staff.
If ad hoc or main staff, at that point in time, you are an INEC staff. It is the duty. It is the duty of INEC to watch over all that staff, whether you put the word ad hoc or not. It is INEC. The onus is on INEC because it's the electoral body that conducts the elections. So ideally, what shows in the beavers as the accredited number of voters is supposed to tally with the number of votes that is actually cast. You cannot say X number of persons did accreditation. At the end of the day, it doesn't tally. You now have Y amount of persons who at the end of the day is being recorded. Like we had so many cases. They will also have the incident of vote buying, stomach infrastructure.
So you
it
think
was very prevalent. Yeah?
From a particular political party or all the political parties?
No, you cannot pin it on one political party.
Exactly.
See, I keep telling Nigerian politicians, they will always want to cry foul. If it favors you, you say, oh, this is the best, freest and fair election. I listened to Philip Schreiber, the deputy governor of Edo State. He said it's the election ever. And you hear from the other side discordant truths, different folks, different strokes for different folks. So a lot of issues that plagued the election, and the fact that there is no framework or when you have incidents, unlike in the past where there used to be incident forms when there is a problem and you feel, and they say that one was addressed in the 2022 Electoral Act, that you don't because the opponents want to capitalize on the particular, they cause mayhem in that particular stuff, and they cancel the result, stuff like that. So INEC, I fear for the electoral process in Nigeria if the electoral reforms are not put in place before the next cycle of general elections. And we also have another off-cycle elections on those states, November 7th. So that it's cause for worry, and that's why everybody's worried, and those states saying we don't want the same thing happen. Then when we begin to talk about how the outcome of the results, before the elections, many pundits have said so many things. Monday Okpebholo is a grassroots man, as it were. It's not about speaking English, as it were. Yes, the man.
Do you think it doesn't matter?
It doesn't really matter. In Nigerian politics, it doesn't matter. Coming from debates, it doesn't really matter. Yes, ideally, you're supposed to come and tell people what you need to do, impress on your people. But it was very clear among the three political gladiators in this election, Olumide Akpata, Aso Ighodalo, he was the least cerebral, as it were, in terms of being able to express his views. There was other incidents we had. I said he was going to provide insecurity, even if we still want to check the authenticity of that. But the point now was that this guy was always in touch with his people, and he's already a distinguished senator representing his people of his own constituency. Unlike the others, in the last general election, Olumide Akpata was in VGC. That was his polling unit because he was strictly based in Lagos. On the mind that what he had working for him was that he was elected NBA president at the time when it was a prerequisite that he was supposed to be senior advocate of Nigeria. He won without being a senior advocate of Nigeria. He's very cerebral, and even his campaign,
oh my God, could Ghana vote?
Could win elections.
Yes,
he had one of the best campaign jingles. Then we'll talk about another cerebral intellectual, Aso Ighodalo of the PDP, who was a boardroom master.
AI, artificial intelligence.
A seasoned lawyer and all that. but it was not physically on ground. And one of the sins of Asua Ighodalo was that of Obaseki, because I keep telling people the truth. Let's dissect things the way they are. There was no way the PDP could win. There was no way Asua Ighodalo would win. Let's forget about what the infractions they're talking about.
Yeah, they came really close.
Yes, the thing was that Obaseki was elected under the platform of Progressive Congress in 2016.
That's right.
And it was single-handedly brought from the private sector by Adams Oshomole, His Excellency. And in 2019, you know, there was problem in Paradise as well.
Okay.
And you know, we all know what happened, all the incidents and rest of it. In 2020, Adams Oshomole was elected national chairman of the APC, and that would have spelled doom for an Obaseki to come back for a second term. He had to now defect and go to the PDP. We all know the story. He managed to even as I was saying before, the relationship went between his man Friday, which was Philip Shoibu, who was so loyal to him and stood. You know, and what was the problem? Was that because Philip Shoibu wanted to become the successor to Obaseki, but Obaseki had other plans because he probably felt that Philip Shoibu was too headstrong or he couldn't control him. He needed somebody like every godfather would want, somebody they can, you know, exactly somebody they can control. And that was the beginning of the end of their troubles, and their romance really ended. And we all know the many troubles, the many court judgments, injunction, and the rest of it. At the end of the day, Philip Shoibu was vindicated by the courts and reinstated. Even if at the end of the day he said his salaries and everything was still, you know, not paid, and it was refused access. Now we also have a Dan Obi, a former PDP party chairman in the state. We also have other gladiators in the PDP that Obaseki had a running, you know, battle with and issues with. So he was fighting a race against the whole world because the few allies he had, you know, he alienated all of them. And of course, you remember the problem he had even coming to the PDP. People in the PDP felt, no, since you're coming to the PDP, you can't come and outstate people who were already there. So that was why we're not supposed to give the deputy, yes, and even give him the platter of gold. Right. But he stood by Philip Shoibu to be deputy. So people were not really happy. And so when he came, he tried as much as possible to change the status quo and put in his own men. And that didn't go down well with, you know. So prior to the elections, a lot of them left the PDP and they pitched tents with the APC, including Philip Shoibu. So it was going to be very difficult. It was like looking for a needle in a haystack for PDP to have been able to win the elections. So Asua Ighodalo as a human is a fine gentleman. He was very cerebral. There was no problem. The problem was that he had a baggage.
A problematic.
Yes, a baggage. You know, with Godwin Obaseki being the person behind him, and that was what didn't really work out for him. So, like we all say, this will definitely end in court, which is unfortunate though. Like I've been always said it is not always good that the electoral process is being decided by the courts. But because there is already, you know, problems in the system, there's already a lacuna in the system, that's why we're having these issues. It is my prayer and my belief, my fervent prayer, if they can adjudicate on these issues before November 11th, when the tenure of Godwin Obaseki, the incumbent, expires and he leaves Osadebe House. You know. But I really don't see any turning back now, because the stats are there. Monday Okpebholo won in 11 local governments out of the 18. Asua Ighodalo won 7, and Monday Okpebholo won with about 290 something thousand, and that
294.
yeah, and that of Moscow Aswegala was 247.
47.
Why Olumide Akpata came with a distant 22?
22,000.
He didn't even win in his ward, already, and that is that shows you what's
But
happening.
they need to be consistent, because I don't think that, I mean, when DP started hearing about LP, it was just, LP, if you ask me, is synonymous to Obi. So without him, I mean, others,
I agree.
we're lucky.
I agree.
Somebody like Alex Oti was so lucky that...
No, Alex Oti is a different. Why I say Alex Oti? Alex had been in the thick of things even before the Obi movement or the Obedient movement came in. Before Obi even came into the picture, he has been in the system.
But LP
he has contested many elections.
The Obi movement
I agree. I agree. And like you said, LP is having his own issues nationally, as it were. And sentiment. You see, when you don't seize the moment, when you are the rave of the moment, you lose it. I won't be surprised that the Labour Party will not be able to garner as much votes as they gathered in the last presidential election.
I was disappointed.
Yeah, and I was still going to say something again, which is very instructive. This election, the Edo election, we had a very good, because we had about 2.6 million voters, and you had a voter collection, PVC collection of about 2.2 million, which is quite high. But when it came to election day, there was a high voter apathy. People didn't really come out.
Oh yeah, because of the rain.
Not just the rain. Not just the
downpour.
rain. People were already tired of the system, and so many other factors.
People were also hungry.
Yeah,
to come out.
that's the key amount. And so, if you were even going to look at that, was enough reason why APC was not supposed to win in the state.
Okay, so I think that we're gradually, as a people in this country, gradually looking away from, party, not looking in the direction of, this is party A, I must do party A. I think we're looking in the direction of the individuality involved.
It is supposed to be so.
That to me is what I think happened.
It is the way to go
in those states. Because if you ask me, what's happening with APC at the federal level, nobody is supposed, apart from the party faithfuls and then people benefiting from the party.
Exactly.
But now, like you said, when you started that, he was, I think he was in the Senate, and then maybe he performed, and he's a grassroots.
He's a grassroots man. And remember, Adams Oshomole was laughing at us Ogadalo that he can't even speak his language. And when he came for campaign, he couldn't even sleep in his own town. And so those are some of the factors.
That I'm privileged to be close to said that they voted not just for Monday but for Adams Oshomole because of what he did.
Like I told you, it's way beyond what we think. Like I said, the race was not just for Asweg Odalo versus a Mondo Pueblo. It was a battle of the Godfather, like I said. Really. And it was a revenge mission. Remember, in the last presidential election, Obaski, and even his own election, 2020, he said he boasted Ogbani. Ogbani in Benin means Edo no be Lagos. And so they won, and it was like a slap on the face of Tinubu and the APC stalwart. And this was like more like a revenge mission. So now they were going to tell you that Edo is now Lagos. We're going to claim, Edo State back to the APC. And you can see His Excellency Abdullahi Ganduje, the APC National Chairman, saying, now it doesn't stop there. We're going to get Anambra State, we're going to get Ondo State by November. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, let the fingers crossed. Like I said, I think that people are beginning to be wiser now. So maybe it's not really the APC factor or the APC version of what they're saying. Maybe it's the individual that they voted for. So let's see now. November is not too far.
Just a couple of months
now. Okay, let's look at this screaming story on The Guardian. Amid low impact, over 174,100 new NGOs established in just 4 years. And over 5.1 million registered entities are in Nigeria. Only 20% of registered entities pay annual returns. That's the point I want us to talk about. We know that some of all these NGOs, they are supported. I watched a video of a very dark man crying out about what's happening in Borno State. Now some of all these people, agencies, NGOs, even government agencies, they give them money, WHO, UNICEF, and at the end of the day, they're not accountable. They just give them a token of the huge sum of money that is meant for the people who are experiencing the flooding. So most of these NGOs established in Nigeria, some of them are like condepites.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Siphoning money.
Nigeria is a theater of the absurd, a comedy of errors. The point is, people go into such organizations or form such organizations with a different mindset. Naturally, like you say, non-governmental organizations aim to help people in need and stuff like that. You said the word. Yes, some use it as a conduit pipe. Some use it as a farce, as a facade, just to deceive people and use it. And he talked of something very important. And I'd say I put the blame on the government. As an NGO or any organization as well, if it is legally required that you file in your tax annual returns every year, you're expected to do so. And what is the legal framework that they need to work on? If you as a body, whether an NGO or a private entity, is supposed to file your tax returns or annual returns annually, and you don't do that, the law should take its course. And the law is very clear on issues like this. Your license will be seized and stuff like that. It is what is legally required. When you go and you will register a company with Corporate Affairs Commission, these are some of the things you are told. But you discover that if you go to the Corporate Affairs Commission now, you see every day you see people coming to register. It's very easy to register. Provide some of all these details. You go for a name change or a name identification or whatever. See, it doesn't end there. The point is, is there a follow-up to check if those organizations are still operating? Or they just use that to just get their business name and just be operating? You are supposed by law to file your annual returns. And if you don't do that, you'll be penalized. And it is in the law. So I think the enabling laws need to be put in circumspect, to look into it and ensure that these persons who violate such laws are dealt according to the law. So I think it's left for the government and the regulatory agencies to do what it has to do to deal with such issues.
Okay, lastly, let's talk about the flooding.
Yeah.
That's happening, and then the rains. NIMET predicted that we're going to expect heavy downpours, even in Delta State. So, how prepared are we? That's
a very big question. So that's $1 billion. I won't say $1 billion because I'm being Nigerian. That's $1 billion naira question. The question has always been there. Our preparedness to deal with disaster, disaster management techniques, and ability to deal with issues before it blows up in our faces. Year in, year out, we begin to have issues of flooding, incidents of the meteorological agencies, NIMET always bringing this, forecast and the case. The point is, what have we done over the years? What have we done differently? Because the point is, you can't continue to do something in the same manner, the same pattern, and expect different results.
FEC sets up technical committee to review all existing dams in Nigeria, and they are reviewing it in September.
I am saying this is the problem with us. Always applying the fire brigade approach. The point is, you don't close the stable doors after the goats have bolted away, and you don't chase the black billy goats when it is dark. You do that during the day, and this is what we do. Now, this ought to have been done yesterday. When I mean yesterday, I don't mean Monday. I mean metaphorically, whatever they are doing now ought to have been done yesterday, not today. And that's what we keep doing. I will keep making these mistakes. And at the end of the day, we spend huge sums of money to prosecute stuff. When they say prevention is better than cure, it's just that as simple as it is. We've had this issue in 2022. This, it was a terrible war. And you saw that of this year. You saw Borno, Maiduguri. You saw the disaster. Thousands of people who were displaced and thousands of lives lost, properties, animals, and stuff like that. These could have been prevented. Some of the dams you're talking about now are more like ancestors. They've been there for years.
Without maintenance.
All new dams also have been built. But those ones that conclude to be had sex, if they are not okay, and you know what to do, remediation also have been done to mitigate such cases. But we don't do that, and we don't learn our lessons. So it's not about setting up the committee. It's only late in the day. My only concern is that we find a way to see how we can deviate from the norm and to ensure that we start these processes on time. Not that when the rains have already started, that's when you now start building a roof over your head, just like a man. It's only when you see the rains already falling or coming, you now start building, or trying to putting the roof over your head. It's not done. and that has always been a problem.
But as
What is-
individuals, we can also play a part.
Yeah, we
In the
really have
little way we
really
can.
have little or nothing to do in this game because it goes beyond us. The only thing we can talk about is as individuals who live in flood prone areas, just like I've been advised in Adamawa, Taraba, and Benue, to ensure that you relocate because the government of the day, as it stands, is so handicapped that it's not willing to do what is right. So you have to save yourself and try as much as possible to move from those areas. But the point is, where do they move to?
Okay. The IDP camps,
Where do they-
allegedly,
where
and
do
the
they move
people
to?
they housed in Borno, they asked them to go.
So it's
Go
a
to the
it's a
streets.
cul-de-sac. Where do they move to? It's just like a one-way street. Where do they move to? Do they have the resources? And we need to also work up a disaster management plan. You know, you go to America, you have disaster, natural and man-made disasters. The other day I was watching a story of, I think it's in Eastern Europe, I think Romania and the rest of it. The same flooding. It's not peculiar to Nigeria alone. But they also have a way of mitigating such and have a way of ensuring that when such happens, you know, the disaster, you have NEMA and all stuff. They are overwhelmed with issues like that. It shouldn't be. Because we have a way that our disaster management techniques should improve to deal with such issues when, you know, it blows off in our faces and prevent it from even happening.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Henry Wanze, as always.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for the in-depth analysis that you just gave us. Okay, that's it. That's it on Tuesday's edition of Morning Ride. I hope that you enjoyed every bit of it. I just did. Okay, on behalf of the production crew, Ufoma Lojoba, who is the presentation director, and Faith Ororobo, the producer this morning. Uche is the cameraman, and of course James, the camera man on duty today. Chidera Sunday is also an IT student with us. Together we're saying thank you. Paula Rukamaya, yes, the engineer on duty, thank you, appreciate your efforts so far. Let's do this again next week, Tuesday. My name is Ifi Osita.